Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be going over the NFL and how stuff's been going on this year. And so here we go. We got an article from ESPN called Week 7, Judging Week 7 NFL Overreactions. The first one to look at is the Seattle Seahawks. Are they the team to beat in the NFC West? So this game says, or not game, this article, sorry. This article says it's an overreaction because, well, they think, full credit to the Seahawks and everything they've done. Clearly, expectation was, they would be one of the worst teams in the league. And they're running the ball really well. Their defense is doing what they've improved. Yeah. But 4-3 isn't 7-0, and that Rams team lurking right behind them is the defending Super Bowl champion. The Niners just traded for McCaffrey. The Seahawks still have to play the Rams twice, and they've lost 8 of their last 10 against the Rams. And will somehow only have 3 road games left there in Arizona. LA against the Rams is discussed, and in Kansas City. So, they got a tough schedule is what they're trying to say. There is work to do before we consider the Seahawks the class of the NFC West. True, they haven't played much of their teams yet. My thing, though, is, they're right about that, but I don't see the Rams as the team because Matthew Stafford, I'm sorry, but look at this. In his game so far, he has six touchdown passes and 8 interceptions thrown. What is he doing? He is really struggling. I don't know what's going on. He throws a lot of picks normally, right? 169 total in 14 years. But, that's over 10 a year. But still, 8 in his first 6 starts and only 6 touchdowns? What is happening? And their backup quarterback, who is that? Roster for the Rams, their backup quarterback. They have John Wolford. Remember when he came in the playoffs and the end of 2020? He did nothing in that playoff game, but it's because they didn't need him to. They actually won the game, so that happened. But in the game to get there, he threw a pick. He didn't do amazing, but he got them the win, and that's what they needed. So, that's last year. This isn't why they're not good. I just don't trust them right now. Stafford's been awful. Kupp has 600 yards. The next highest receiver is at 297, and it's the tight end Higbee. They have 4 players over 100 receiving yards. Akers and Henderson, both averaging exactly 30 run yards per game. Their run game's been awful, too. What is happening to this team? I'm sorry. The Rams, I just don't trust them this year. They're 3-3. We'll see. I just don't think, in my opinion, the Rams are not a great team right now. The Cardinals, 3-4. They have no excuses also. You could say, they didn't have Hopkins, but that's one receiver. You guys have Marquise Brown. And, yes, he's been really, really good. Don't get me wrong, he has 485 yards in 6 games. He's played really well. But, Greg Dortch has played well, too. That's surprising. But, they didn't have Hopkins, so they didn't have that wide receiver depth. But Eno Benjamin's been good at running back. Connor's been good. Their run game is not bad, actually. They just got to figure out the defense, I think. They allowed 176 points on defense, which is the 3rd highest amount of points allowed in the NFC. The NFC's been awful this year, though. There are only 5 teams over 500 in a division or in a conference of 16 teams. What the heck is going on in the NFC? The Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, Vikings, and Seahawks are the only teams with a winning record. 4 of them have 5 wins, which is pretty crazy. So, or 5 or more, actually. Giants and Eagles have 6. And Giants, shout out to them, their point differential is plus 20. So they outscore their opponents by 20 points. And they are 6-1, which means they have 5 more wins than losses. So basically, their average win is like 3 or 4 points. That's ridiculous. They're just edging out every team in their wins. They're just playing great. Yeah. So I feel like, in my opinion, the team to beat in the NFC West is the Niners because they have had injuries, and I don't know, like Kyle Shanahan, I don't really understand how his team works. But look, so they're 3-4 right now. What happened last year, right? They were 10-7 overall. Look how they started the season. They were 3-5. They were at this exact same record. And then they won 3 in a row, 5 of their last 6. Yeah, 7 of their last 9. Like, that was crazy. Then they beat Dallas in the first playoff game, and then Green Bay. And it's because their defense last year was really, really good. They have been good this year, but they need to get better. Like, overall, their offense is actually the second worst in the league behind the Broncos, which is surprising. The Broncos are supposed to be good. They are awful. Even with Christian McCaffrey, the Niners are not a Super Bowl contender. This is a debatable one because think about this, right? For me, the only team I trust being good in the playoffs in the NFC right now is the Eagles. They're 6-0. They're consistent. In 6 wins, they have a point differential of 56, which is the best in the NFC by a number of 26 points ahead of Dallas. But that's insane. Like, their point differentials are like pretty good. Oh wait, sorry. When I said the Niners defense or offense was the second worst, it was not. It was the Rams offense. See, that's why I don't see them as a contender. They gotta score points. Their team's good. Score. Like, you have Kupp, Stafford. You have all the pieces to do it. Just do it. Like, I don't know. Christian McCaffrey is a big addition to this team, obviously. I still see them as a Super Bowl contender because look what happened here. Sorry, wait. Remember what I just showed you about last season. Look. They had no McCaffrey, right? They ran for 169 yards against Dallas, 106 against the Packers, and 50 against the Rams. They lost to the Rams, obviously, but they ran for 169 yards against the Cowboys. 96 for Elijah Mitchell, 72 for Deebo Samuel. See, if they can do that without McCaffrey, what can they do with him? Like, that's incredible. And then Elijah Mitchell's not healthy. Like, he's not playing right now. Which puts into perspective how Jeff Wilson's played so far. He has 454 yards. He's averaging 65 a game. Mitchell only played the first game of the year, and he's out. And when he gets back, they're going to have Mitchell, Wilson, and McCaffrey. And Kyle Shanahan is really good at using their offense with all their running backs. And also, another thing I think, Kittle's played 5 games, right? He's been out for 2 of them. They are overworking him. Like, look what he did last week. Look. He had 9 targets, 6 catches for 98 yards, right? And then against the Falcons, here, this is the game that I'm talking about. Yeah, Deebo, 7 catches, 79 yards. Like, I don't know. They're not throwing it like too little to Kittle, but like, or not Kittle, Samuel. But I don't know. I just feel like they gotta target Samuel too a lot more, like, or just like he's pretty fast. So why don't they throw it deep to him? That's my question. Like, he's getting too many like dump off screen passes. Like, I think probably his average yards per catch isn't that high. That's another reason why I think that. Like, it's at 12.1. He's really fast, so it should be higher than that. Like, 12.1 yards per catch. Yeah, that's his like last year he averaged 18 a catch. That's insane. Like, they gotta give him the ball more. I don't know. So they could be a Super Bowl contender because they did that they got to the NFC Championship without McCaffrey. And then they trade for him. If McCaffrey's going to stay healthy, then yes. All right. So, this is the most debatable one. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are both going to miss the playoffs. Yeah, well, let's see. So, they're saying this is an overreaction, but here we go. Let's see. Look, I was wrong about the Packers. I thought they would win the NFC. I mean, I'm not surprised you thought that. They're a good team. They're supposed to be a good team, is what I mean. Third place, Philadelphia Phillies are in the World Series. Yeah, they could. Yeah, the Phillies made the World Series in baseball, so that's backing up the point that anything's possible in sports. I mean, yes, but the problem for the Packers, I just don't see them doing it. Their defense is mediocre. Aaron Rodgers is mediocre this year. Like, he has the most arm talent out of any quarterback in the history of the NFL. But Tom Brady is just, like, more skilled at getting the ball to his, like, guys and leading the team. Normally. This year, Tom Brady's been annoying because he's been yelling at his teammates nonstop and telling them, like, he's been cursing at them, making it seem like they're the ones doing everything wrong. But it's him. And then Mike Evans dropped a pass. Here, wait. Let me show you this. Mike Evans dropped touchdown. Alright, wait.
Peloton, this is my jam.
Here we go. So,
in the Bucks in an NFC South matchup. Brady fires downfield, and the pass is bobbled and dropped by Mike Evans. Would have had an easy.
so that was probably the worst. Like, that was the best throw that the Bucks had that game. Like, that was the best throw Tom Brady made that game, and it was dropped. Right? He was not good. Like, the whole game, he made a great throw that would have been a touchdown to Evans. Didn't catch it. They got 0 touchdowns in that game. And their record's 3-4. Partly because of the refs. They could still be 3-4, but there was that roughing the passer call against the Falcons. In a game that the Falcons still could have won. Maybe wouldn't have, but they could have. There was time on the clock, but they called a roughing the passer when the guy was literally just sacked. Tom Brady was sacked. And he still had the ball in his hands. But, yeah. And, like, Tom Brady's just so annoying right now, his attitude, because, like, he's the one that's messing the team up. He's the one to blame, and he's just yelling at everybody on his team. Like, he's doing everything right, which is not true. So, I don't think that any of these teams will make the playoffs, but Matt LaFleur, look, the Packers have lost 3 in a row for the first time under Matt LaFleur. His 4 losses already equal a career high, single season high with 10 games left to play. So his highest amount of losses in a season in his career as the Packers coach is 4. The Packers are the team that I see a lower chance of making the playoffs, but both of these teams could still do it. I don't see either one of them doing it, but the Bucks defense could get them to the playoffs. That's in my opinion. All right, this is an interesting one because surely you know the Colts are on their 5th different starting quarterback in 5 years after Andrew Luck's retirement before 2019. Just saying, Andrew Luck, he went to the American school in London, which is where I go to school, which is pretty cool, actually. He was only there for a year, though, but still. So Jacoby Brissett was the starter in 2020. 2019. Phillip Rivers, 2020, but he retired after that year. Then they got Carson Wentz, and he wasn't bad, but he wasn't, good at all either. I think he did actually do better than he was on the Eagles. Yeah. No. He was good on the Eagles before 2020. But they were 9-8. He actually played a good year. 27 touchdowns, 7 picks. He did pretty well. I just don't exactly know why they got rid of him like this. He's been okay with the Commanders, but he's thrown a lot of picks. 6 picks in 6 games. But the yardage has been good. He's just, I don't know. He was god-awful, though, in 2020 for Philly. That was the worst season I've ever seen. Or for a quarterback who was good. All right, Matt Ryan. So, they signed him this year. I think this is not an overreaction because of the way the Colts are playing this. Matt Ryan, yes, he is playing really bad football right now. But there have been a couple, good moments for him this year. He passed Dan Marino for 7th all time in yards. Obviously, the Colts don't care about that much compared to winning games and doing well. But, that was good. He had 2 pretty good games. He had that game where he threw a touchdown to Allen Pierce to win it against the Texans. I mean, I know it's against the Texans, but still. They're just not good right now. They're one of only 2 teams over the past 5 years that have trailed at halftime in each of their first 7 games, along with the last year's Jets. Wow. So that's interesting. I don't think they're probably going to make the change because they're on pace to do that as they just benched Matt Ryan. But I don't think he's been as bad as people have made him out to be. I mean, yes, he's been bad, but, still, I don't know. The Bengals are still a strong threat to repeat as AFC champions. Okay, yes, but sort of no. Because the Chiefs and Bills, obviously the top 2. Bills are number 1 in the AFC. Then the Chiefs. Then I would put the Bengals at 3. They're the 3rd of 3 teams that I actually trust in the playoffs in the AFC. And my God, did Joe Burrow look great last week. Sorry, what am I saying? 481 pass yards. And Boyd with 155 yards. Tyler Boyd, bro. He was incredible. 155 yards, and he's the 3rd best receiver on the team. Think about that. Jamar Chase, 130 yards. T. Higgins, 93 yards. They almost had 3 receivers over 100. That's insane. The one problem I have with the Bengals, they got to work on their defense. Like, they played good this week defensively, but their defense probably ranks like in the middle of the pack this year, and I just don't know. So yes, they are a contender, but this article probably makes them scarier, or not scarier, scarier than I think they are. Then the Ravens. All right, let's talk about tonight's weird game between two teams that I just can't deal with right now. The Buccaneers and Ravens. The Bucs, 3-4, awful offense, probably the second worst in the league or something like that. Just can't score points. It's ridiculous. And then the Ravens, who have had a double-digit lead in every game they've played this year. Think about that. A double-digit lead in every game. And your team's 4-3. Like, that means they've blown 3 double-digit leads this season. That just shows the struggle they've had. But I still view that they're going to win. The Ravens are going to win this game because look at this. The Ravens, right, they're 4-3. They've blown 3 double-digit leads, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But in all those games, Lamar Jackson has still been really, not bad at all. He's just started to throw the ball for less yards and throw the ball less overall. I don't know what's going on, but he's not throwing the ball as much. He's averaging less than 200 pass yards a game. And Mark Andrews is by far his top target. And the run game's been okay. Justice Hill, Kenyon Drake, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. They have 4 running backs, all 3 of them over 100 yards. That's not bad. The run game's pretty good in Baltimore. But I just don't know. They blew a double-digit lead to the Bills, Giants, and the Dolphins. The Dolphins game was the best game of the year, in my opinion. Because Tua threw 190 yards to Hill and 171 to Waddle. That was a crazy game to watch. And, yeah. Well, that's I feel like the Ravens are going to win against the Bucs. And, tell me if you guys want me to do another of these, analysis videos. And, thanks for watching. In a very short time, I will be doing a video on the Football GM League that I'm doing. So, see you guys next time, and bye.